really don't care what happens at all. I don't care. Like everybody they tiptoe around with this social media, but what y'all don't get is that it be real consequence for y'all little flexes, y'all quick flexes for $300 that you need. It be consequence.
Nobody expected the daughter to say what she did, her voice trembling but strong enough to freeze the entire courtroom. Iman, the man known for never backing down, the man who built his whole image on having the last word, sat there with nothing to say. No clever clapback, no angry outburst, just a silent stare that told the world this was a blow he didn't see coming. Every buried secret they'd hidden behind perfect family photos came spilling out into the air like a wound split open for everyone to see. This wasn't just some routine family hearing anymore. This was heartbreak laid bare under the cold lights of a courtroom, watched by people who once believed in the fairy tale they sold. And what she confessed didn't just crack the mask, it shattered it so loud that the echoes are still bouncing through every phone screen and whispered conversation tonight. This was supposed to be another day of lawyers trading words, tired family faces pretending to care about what the papers said while they hid their real war behind cold smiles. But Teyana's daughter didn't stick to the script. She stood up when nobody expected her to, her shoulders squared like she'd carried too many secrets for too long. Some people say you could hear a pin drop when her chair scraped back. The judge, the attorneys, the audience, everyone leaned in closer than they should have, like they already knew they were about to witness something no one would forget. She didn't stammer through it. Her voice shook but her eyes never flinched. She didn't glance at her mother for backup. She didn't look down for permission. She locked eyes on Iman, the man she once called a hero, the man who always claimed he'd protect her. She didn't just answer questions. She opened wounds they'd spent years covering up with matching outfits and magazine smiles. Witnesses swear you could hear a gasp when she dropped the line that hit him hardest. Stop acting like you're innocent. You know what you did. Lawyers scrambled like they could shove her words back in her mouth, but it was too late. She kept talking until the last truth fell out, raw and shaking in the air for everyone to feel. And when she stepped down, she didn't look back. She left their perfect family image lying there on the cold floor, broken for good. For years, they sold the world a version of family so flawless it could hang on every glossy cover in the grocery store checkout line. Photos of them on white sand beaches, dinners at candlelit tables, hugs that felt warm enough to make people forget how carefully staged they were. But inside those walls, behind the camera lens, things were different. People who knew them whispered that the fights were as loud as the photo ops were bright. Silent nights stretched on after slammed doors. Ugly words hissed under their breath while the world was busy liking their perfect family posts. Some say Teyana's daughter knew it all. Every lie, every betrayal, every time she heard her parents fight through the walls while the world called them couple goals. She asked them to stop pretending, begged them to stop feeding her the fairy tale they'd long stopped believing in themselves. When they didn't, she decided the only way out was through the truth. No matter how messy it looked in front of strangers who thought they knew her family better than she did. Old clips of them are back on everyone's screens now. Stiff smiles, cold hugs, awkward moments hidden behind forced laughter. People see it all different now. And the best PR spin in the world can't cover the cracks her words split wide open. Iman made his name on never backing down. When the tabloids called him out, he clapped back with rants that trended for days. When rumors swirled, he flipped them on their head until they sounded like someone else's lie. His voice was his shield, his greatest trick for drowning out anything that dared challenge the image he'd built so carefully. But in that courtroom, when his own daughter's voice cracked the silence, Iman's voice died. People say his lawyer leaned in, whispering so fast the cameras almost missed it, trying to remind him to stay calm, stay sharp, stay in control. But there was no controlling this. No shouting match could fix the look in her eyes when she said he wasn't innocent. No spin could fix the reality that every person in that room, and every person watching their phones later, saw him frozen. His hands were locked so tight together you'd think he was trying to hold himself from unraveling in front of the cameras. But that silence screamed louder than any meltdown he could have thrown. By the time the first clip leaked online, his stunned face was everywhere. The man who built his whole image on being the loudest was now a meme for having nothing left to say. When the judge finally called a recess, the hallway turned into a circus. Reporters nearly knocked each other over for a quote. Some families slipped out the back, heads down. No words for the mics shoved in their faces. Teyana walked out steady, Not a smile, but not a tear either. Some say she knew this was coming, that she'd braced herself for the day their daughter would break the lie wide open. Iman's people rushed to file motions, demanding parts of her words be stricken from the record, like the truth could be scrubbed off a courtroom transcript if they argued hard enough. But it was pointless. The story was already out before they even left the building. Clips spread so fast that by the time they sat in their cars, half the internet had already picked a side. Old friends and family who once kept their opinions quiet started dropping shady posts, deleting old photos, leaving cryptic comments that only made people dig deeper. Rumors buzzed that this was just the beginning, that more testimony could come, maybe from her again, maybe from people who'd stayed silent for too long. The perfect family story wasn't just cracked now, it was blown apart for everyone to pick through, piece by ugly piece. The second those clips hit Twitter, the internet exploded. It wasn't just another celebrity moment or courtroom leak. It was the spark that lit up a digital wildfire. Within minutes, hashtags surged to the top of the trending list. Screens were filled with side-by-side shots of a daughter standing tall, eyes locked on her father, while Iman sat frozen in place, blank-faced and unreadable. The contrast was too striking to ignore. Meme pages moved fast, faster than news outlets. They captured the silence in Iman's stare, paused the video at just the right second, and layered it with savage captions that stung more than any official headline ever could. In a matter of hours, his image was no longer in his control. It belonged to the internet now, and the internet was unforgiving. Fans split instantly. It was tribal, emotional, and loud. On one side were those who hailed the daughter as a hero. To them, she was the only person in the entire saga brave enough to stand in the truth. A young voice refusing to be buried under adult lies and polished PR statements. They said she spoke for every child who had watched parents break a home apart with smiles on their faces. She was raw, honest, and unbothered by the fear of fallout. These fans flooded timelines with messages of support, clips from her testimony, and long threads about how her strength mirrored their own childhood experiences. But the other side wasn't buying it. Some accused Teyana of using her daughter as a pawn in a battle she couldn't win on her own. They said no child speaks that clearly and with that kind of emotional precision unless someone coached her. They pointed at Teyana, claiming she fed her daughter the words, scripted the moment, and sat back while the world burned. For these critics, the entire thing felt calculated. A strategic blow designed to win sympathy in court and online, using emotional shock to overshadow facts. Meanwhile, the internet's deep dive had already begun. Old footage started resurfacing at lightning speed. Interviews where Iman confidently spoke about how unbreakable his family was, now seen as delusional or ironic. Red carpet moments where the daughter smiled with lips tight and eyes down, now seen as signs, red flags everyone missed. Fans who once praised their family as goals were now dissecting old clips for proof that the cracks had been there all along. The timelines of their lives, once scrubbed clean for public viewing, were now being reassembled like a puzzle full of missing truths. And the theories didn't stop there. Some fans, and even a few anonymous insiders, swear that the worst hasn't even surfaced yet. They say private messages are out there, screenshots of things Iman never expected to see daylight, possibly even voice recordings or confession texts that could blow the lid off everything. There's a sense that this is only the beginning, that more bombs are waiting to drop. Everyone's refreshing timelines, scanning gossip pages, watching live streams, because this isn't just a court case anymore. It's a full-blown spectacle, raw and emotional like a soap opera, only it's playing out in real time, with real people and real consequences. Inside the house Iman built, the carefully curated world of reputation, strong statements, and performative confidence, panic has set in. Insiders close to his team say the atmosphere behind the scenes is tense, frantic. Some are urging him to act fast, to release a carefully crafted statement that spins the narrative back in his favor. Maybe remind the public of his past charity work, play the misunderstood father card, tug on the sympathy strings. But others are urging silence, telling him any move could backfire, and that speaking now could only give Teyana and her daughter more fuel. The uncertainty is crippling. No one knows if the daughter will speak again, but many believe she's not done. Her calm on that stand wasn't a fluke. It was composed, clear, almost practiced. If Iman tries to flip the script, she might just step back into the spotlight with even more to say. The kind of truth you can't PR your way out of. And Teyana's camp? They are calm. Maybe too calm. That kind of silence doesn't come from fear, it comes from control. Some speculate it's because they know exactly what they are sitting on. Sealed files, private exchanges, old audio that tells a very different story from the one Iman has sold for years. Already, longtime supporters are jumping ship. These are the same people who defended him against critics, who once flooded his posts with praise. But now? Some are deleting old tweets, others are saying, if even half of this is true, I can't support him. His image, the one he worked years to build, is turning to dust. What's left of the perfect family picture? Nothing but ashes and fragments of a life once wrapped in smiles and silence. So now it's on you. Who do you believe? The daughter who stood up, voice shaking but strong enough to pull the mask off her family in front of the world? Or Iman, the man who always said he'd never be silenced, sitting frozen with nothing left to say when it mattered most? Drop your thoughts below. Who's telling the truth? Who's hiding something worse? And what bombshell drops next? If you want every single leak, every twist, every meltdown the second it happens, you know what to do. Stick around. This wasn't just some testimony scribbled in a court file. This was heartbreak raw in public, a silence that screamed the truth louder than any rant Iman ever threw. And when he finally opens his mouth again, the pieces left might not be big enough to spin into a lie this time. Stay locked in, because this isn't over. It's just getting started.